All right, I'm very disturbed at people's lack of being able to tell the truth out there. There's a war on the right between Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, and other people who are critical of Israel against establishment Republicans who really love that AIPAC money. Everyone who has eyes and ears has watched Charlie Kirk's evolution the last few months of his life, and everyone knows that Israel was pressuring Charlie to run TPUSA. They were going to give him hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not in dispute.
But man, some of the people who send money to Turning Point, his donors, were very tough on him. So tough on him that I could feel it. You know, I talked to him a lot in the last few months, and he was under enormous pressure. He never bent. He never became bitter.
He kept his integrity to the very end.
To the very end. And I just think it's important to say that because it's true.
Absolutely.
There's some disputes about how these meetings went. It's not in dispute what was going on. You just saw Tucker Carlson and the Vice President, J.D. Vance, discuss how Charlie kept his integrity to the end against the pressure of these donors. Steve Bannon confirmed what they said was true. And when I talk about these meetings were in dispute, there was a Grayzone article that blew up everything, and Bill Ackman and all these other people started defending themselves. The article, which is a good read, lists a bunch of people that were invited to the Topping Rose House. It's this ultra-luxurious bed and breakfast thing in the Hamptons. Looks beautiful. This is a scene where a billionaire hosts a bunch of people so they can, LARP as billionaires themselves. And the crew here are a bunch of wingmen of Bill Ackman. They want to control TPUSA and what speakers they can have and what Charlie's allowed to talk about. And they're going to offer Charlie a lot of money, and Charlie's going to reject them. And that's what happened. Now, if you just do a cursory reading of this article, you may not realize that the Grayzone has 5 sources for how this went down. Here are the things I want to highlight. According to the article, the public face of UK Lawyers for Israel, Natasha Hausdorff, joined in the argument and began screaming at Kirk, according to the attendee. This is the harpy they sicked on Charlie Kirk.
The reason that it is so terrible, that it is so dangerous that these lies are being spread about Israel, that even you and other respected international journalists have begun to propagate them, is that it is having a direct impact. No, that you have been taken in by them, really? Is because it is having a direct impact on the safety of Jews around the world.
And it seems like that was kind of the theme of the whole thing. They were pressuring Charlie Kirk with, if you continue down this road of letting these anti-Semites speak, it's going to be a problem. How do I know this? Because they admit it. This is a tweet from Arian Wexler. I shared this old Jewish saying with Charlie last month at a group breakfast. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh over that, but this ain't a Jewish saying. It's Jean-Paul Sartre, the Marxist philosopher, and she doesn't know that, but she's quoting it with all her education. The anti-Semite does not accuse the Jew of stealing because he thinks he stole something. He does it because he enjoys watching the Jew turn out his pockets to prove his innocence. What the hell is the situation that you would ever read that to Charlie Kirk's face in front of people? And just think of how gross this is to recall this memory when she was pressuring Charlie Kirk with this garbage. She posts this after his death to play up her clout like she was friends with Charlie. She was not treating him good at the end. And this is one of the things they forgot to scrub. I mean, you're gonna read Charlie Kirk the riot act with Marxist quotes about his anti-Semitism? This really plays to what the Grayzone wrote. It's not good. It doesn't look good. And so what were they concerned about? They were concerned about things like this. Charlie Kirk wrote a whole piece about how he went on the PBD podcast after October 7th, and he questioned the reality of being in Israel. He was in Israel, and he saw the soldiers and the security everywhere. Amazingly, on October 7th, Hamas fighters just swarmed all over the place, unopposed for a while. Charlie asked questions about that.
How did these guys not know this was taking place?
So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand-down order? Was there a stand-down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it.
That made a bunch of people concerned, and Charlie got a lot of pushback from that. And he said a few more things he had pushback from.
It is a spirited discussion about Israel, about AIPAC.
Right? Do you connect the Epstein issue immediate, first connection in your mind, that's also connected to Mossad and Israel, or they feel separate in your mind?
settled?
I think there's a growing consensus that there's a connection there among Gen Z.
Yeah, I think that's definitely gaining velocity.
Basically, every year we send about almost $4 billion to Israel. Does that make you upset, or do you understand it, given that they're under sort of crisis ongoing?
I would say upset, and the amount over since 1948, it amounts to 319 billion adjusted to inflation.
There's a certain sense of ownership of Charlie in his message. And when David Horowitz died, Charlie Kirk eulogized him beautifully and tells you exactly where Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA comes from. And those early donors that really gave Charlie Kirk and Turning Point its head start, and they feel a little betrayed that Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, and other people, Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, started showing up and talking. And Charlie, always a follower of Christ and America first, started to ask questions. Charlie Kirk was just asking questions. And that leads us to the lady of the hour. She's also the elephant that's always in the room now on the right, Candace Owens. To be clear, I did not call Candace an elephant. She is the best black Barbie ever. And it's a shame Mattel has never created her action figure yet. Candace Owens loved Charlie, and she's grabbed a hold of this case with both hands. So we're going to have to hang on because it's going to be a roller coaster. Because Candace Owens has big balls. Candace Owens did not say Israel killed Charlie Kirk. So when you say that, you're lying. Ian Carroll did, but then he apologized and said he might have jumped the gun. People say these things. Well, Israel made a pretty good reputation of killing people. Sorry, maybe you should talk to people like Charlie Kirk. Anyway, there's been this ridiculous folding of the right with no moral backbone. After Charlie Kirk was killed, Bibi Netanyahu immediately took to TV, lied about the contents of his letter, reach down and grab a pair, big boys. Where are the men? The dude lied. He misrepresented Charlie Kirk going to Israel. He extended an invitation to Charlie Kirk to come to Israel. Charlie Kirk rejected him.
And then I called him a few weeks ago and I said, so Charlie, why don't you come and visit us? And he said, well, I'm going to, and we were going to fix a date. And that's not going to take place.
He did not get assassinated and not be able to make the trip. Bibi Netanyahu, after lying about the letter, misrepresented that. It's not a blood libel. I'm not anti-Semitic. I love Jewish people. I love bagels. What they've done for breakfast. I'm from New York. What they've done for breakfast, I'd die for those people. Listen, Bibi Netanyahu is a liar. And Candace Owens called him out, and everyone's got hurt feelings over it because there's a lot of money on the table with these legacy donors. And they're willing to say Candace is too crazy for Charlie, and they'll lie about them being distanced, and they'll make fun of Candace Owens. Look at this PBD broadcast with Eric Bolling, formerly of Fox News. And Eric Bolling claims to be a TPUSA board member, and then claims Candace doesn't talk to anybody.
You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
So when someone says you're on the board of Turning Point and you say yeah, they think you're on the executive board or an advisory board. This guy is on some honorary board. He has nothing to do with any of the boards that make decisions at Turning Point.
You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay, when's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
In person?
Yeah.
2015, 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
when's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
Not in many years. Except for 2024, when Candace Owens spoke in Detroit for Turning Point USA as pictured here, and Erica Kirk had her as part of the Young Women's Leadership Summit in Texas, and Candace is one of the top billed speakers. Candace is literally number 2 on this poster in 2024, so I think they were probably talking. The most laughable part, though, about this, it's sad that these people, for their own agendas, are making these claims against Candace and acting like they know things. Eric Bolling kind of faked being on the executive board, but what people don't realize is Candace Owens is actually still part of the executive staff of Turning Point USA. I guess Eric Bolling forgot about that. It is absurd, the lies this guy spouts. I feel bad even saying they're lies. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. And none of them are brave enough to say Brigitte Macron has a wiener. Because she does. And these people are mad. Just don't try to pretend everyone else is evil or anti-Semitic or lying. It's okay. Telling the truth is hard. And that's why Charlie Kirk was mourned so greatly. And if all of us love Charlie Kirk, let's do things the way he would do it. We need to engage in conversations. When conversations end, violence begins. Don't stop talking to each other. We got to have fearless conversations the way Charlie Kirk was doing.